What's good, Commanders fans? I just want to make a quick video here just talking about an update that Dan Quinn gave on injuries from the game on Sunday, and then Jayden Daniels' injury was from the Panthers game, which was a week and a half ago now, as Wednesday is like the first real day of practice. When the injury report comes out, he did not mention Andrew Wiley. Nobody asked him about Andrew Wiley. We know Andrew Wiley dropped to the floor, basically like dropped to his knees at one point and left the game when he came back in. So I guess he's going to be practicing today. He didn't say anything about that. Nobody asked Dan Quinn about that either. But this is what Dan Quinn had to say. He said Jayden Daniels and Brandon Coleman will do some work at practice today, but Cornelius Lucas will not. He also said that they're going to see later as the week goes on with Cornelius Lucas. But he said Brandon Coleman is doing well and he will do some practice. So both guys will be doing some practice today, which is awesome news. It's awesome news. Jayden Daniels clearly felt like we all felt like he was going to practice. Maybe be held out for precautionary reasons. But him being limited is fine. He may be limited tomorrow as well, and then do a full practice on Friday just to get him warmed up and do the virtual reality that he's been doing as of recent. And then he'll be ready to go for Sunday against the Giants. And then Brandon Coleman was the biggest question mark to me. I mean, Cornelius Lucas was a big question mark too, but Brandon Coleman because of the concussion. You just don't know how concussions go. They can linger. We've seen guys miss multiple games. We've seen guys miss full seasons for concussions here with the Skins with previous regimes. So that's good news. We saw Austin Eckler come back from the concussion. He missed one game from the concussion, and then also the what's his name? Austin Eckler came back from that. So this is good to see. It's good to hear that Brandon Coleman is going to most likely be back. He's trending in the right direction, and that Dan Quinn said that he's doing well. So that's good news because we need him out there, man. We need him out there bad, especially if Cornelius Lucas is not ready to go, which it kind of is trending that way. And Trent Scott struggled with the false starts. Trent Scott, he wasn't good. That's all I'm gonna say. He didn't have his best game. He had two false starts, and then he had like a 36.4 PFF grade, which is pretty awesome. He hit a 34.7. He was the worst graded PFF player on the team on the offense on Sunday. He had a 45.1 run blocking grade. So not only was he not good overall, but he didn't block well in the run game. He was solid in the pass blocking game, 55.7. But he had two penalties that stalled drives that we really, really needed. And if we would have at least converted a touchdown on one of the drives, then we wouldn't have been in the situation that we were in where we had to, convert on a Hail Mary. So that's good news with Brandon Coleman. So Brandon Coleman, I don't think they're going to do a swap or a rotation if Lucas is out. I feel like they're just going to have Brandon Coleman in there at left tackle. He's going to get 100% of the snaps instead of them doing like a rotation between him and Trent Scott like they do with Cornelius Lucas. So that's my thoughts on that. So positive news of the left tackle spot because, like I said, we had to go out and sign Bobby Hart, and then they worked out the left tackle who went to West Virginia and played with the Giants. I forgot to say yesterday the tackle that we saw signed Bobby Hart. He was with OG Bobby Johnson, the offensive line coach, with the Bills briefly, not for long. And then I told about the familiarity that he has with Lance Newmark when he was on the Lions practice squad. But Bobby Hart has not really done well for the most part in his career. He's been in the league for about 9 to 10 years. So, like I said, it's just better suited for Brandon Coleman to be in there and be our full-time left tackle on Sunday against the Giants. Brian Burns is available, but they still have Azeez Ojulari, who has 6 sacks on the season. And they still have Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence. So the Giants still have a darn good defensive line. You can't sleep on them, and they do lead the league in sacks at this point. So, and that's really it for the injury report. Maybe they'll say something about B-Rob with the injury report coming out. I don't know if he's going to be on the injury report or not, but we'll see what happens with him because he didn't play much in the second half. But I do want to talk about this guy that said they had a source on Twitter. And of course, you can't really follow people who say they have sources. And this is somebody on Twitter. It's like Smith for general manager or something like that. And he tweeted out, he said, "Sounds like the Commanders, Adam Peters has a deal almost done. Don't have the details." This was yesterday around 6:00 p.m. And then today, 4 hours ago at 8:24, he said, "Sounds like this might not happen until Monday now." So I don't like to talk about rumors and stuff like that. But of course, he was really getting people's hopes up with a trade. He was getting people riled up and whatnot. That's why you just can't really trust people who say anything on social media. And who knows, this guy could be right. He said it sounds like this might not happen until Monday. We know the trade deadline is Wednesday coming up, where deadlines make people do things. It makes people make things happen, make something shake. So I don't think Adam Peters is really letting anything out. Anybody in that front office, I don't really think they're letting a lot of stuff out as far as rumors and reports and what they plan on doing. They're holding their cards to the vest for sure. So, but let's see if this guy is right, man. I'm intrigued. I'm just intrigued to see if this guy is right. And then he also named a couple guys that he said who he feels like we would be going after. Trying to find where he said it, but he said it sounds like the deal is very close to being closed. And he said Harold Landry, Zadarius Smith, and those are the guys that he named. He said my guess is a cornerback, but I could easily be wrong. Also, maybe Harold Landry, just a guess. So this guy feels like he knows something and something's going to happen. So we'll see what Adam Peters does. All we can do is just sit back. He said Greg Newsome or Harold Landry, perhaps. So that's the name he keeps bringing up, Harold Landry. So, like I said, no, this guy, we don't know if he has a source or not, but I'll just end it right there on that note. But all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. As always, Hail to Commanders. Peace. Positive news on Brandon Coleman. So that's good news, guys. Blocking and protecting our franchise quarterback. That's big news right there with Brandon Coleman. Hail to Commanders. Peace.